Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Barkett from the Washington Permanente Medical Group, and I'm here today to talk to you about a model for self-care. S is for sleep. Sleep is a really important part of life and actually makes up the foundation for each and every day for all of us. So what makes good, high-quality, healthy sleep? Well, both the amount and the pattern. Sleep is an important biological process that actually has big impacts on growth hormones, on memory consolidation, and cognitive processes. And of course, it provides rest. So how much sleep should you get? Most adults need between 7 and 8 hours of sleep per night. Also, the pattern for our sleep matters. We developed a circadian rhythm to regulate our sleep-wake cycles, and sleeping at night actually reinforces our physiology. Sleeping at night has been associated with better health outcomes. For instance, it's been studied people who work the night shift, and this has been shown to have several worse health outcomes. So what do I recommend to my patients? I recommend 7 to 8 hours of sleep at night, if possible, and a minimum of napping during the day. E is for exercise. Exercise actually reinforces the wakefulness side of the sleep-wake cycle, and so is important for sleep. But it does a lot more than that too. It promotes cardiovascular health, has effects on our peripheral nervous system. It also helps with weight management and is associated with positive mental health outcomes. So, how much exercise do you need? Well, I recommend my patients that they get 150 minutes of exercise throughout the week. But it can be really difficult to jump from 0 to 150. So I recommend starting small, maybe with 5 or 10 minutes of walking per day. In order to help develop good habits and break bad habits, I actually recommend checking out a book called The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. This is a really fascinating read and can help you to get into good habits. One thing that I find is helpful for people to establish good exercise habits is accountability. So doing that exercise with a person or a group of people to make sure that you're staying on track and being consistent. Where I work, we actually have a group who walks every day at lunchtime. Also, I really like to bicycle, but that's difficult to do during the week, so I go on the weekend and I make sure to call a buddy. That way, if I'm not staying on track with my bicycle plans, he can let me know and I can do the same for him. L is for love and laughter. These are positive emotions and are really important for our well-being. And they have quantifiable effects on our health. For instance, laughter has been associated with lower cortisol levels. Cortisol is actually a stress hormone. We all want lower stress in our lives. Love. Acts of love actually promote oxytocin release. Oxytocin release primes the brain for connection with other people and helps to form long-lasting, deep relationships with others. So love, it's important to know actually how you experience and give love. There are lots of different love languages. It might be petting a cat or a dog after work, or kissing a spouse, or even doing an act of kindness for a stranger. All of these can stimulate oxytocin release and help to enhance our lives. F is for food. I love food. Food can enrich our lives and bring joy. It really engages our sense of smell and taste. Many years ago, my wife and I, we went to Japan and really experienced a totally different food experience firsthand. We had a 12-course meal where each course was 2 or 3 bites of food. It forced us to really appreciate both the smell and the taste of the food and totally changed the way I experienced food. But food does more than just enrich our lives. It actually is a necessary part of life by providing us the nutrition that we need to build our body. And this really matters. So what does health research tell us about healthy diets? Well, healthy diets are high in whole foods, especially plants like fruits and vegetables. It also is low in processed foods and low in meat. But food does more than just enrich our lives. It actually provides us the nutritional building blocks for life. And so what we put in our bodies matters. Top athletes have recognized this. And they have read the health research that says a healthy diet is one that is high in whole foods. So think fruits and vegetables, and low in processed foods and meats. This type of diet has been associated with better cardiovascular outcomes, better mental processing skills, lower weight, lower blood sugar, and is what I recommend to my patients. C is for compassion. Compassion is another positive emotion, like love. Compassion also, like love, stimulates oxytocin release. What this is actually doing is helping us to connect with other human beings and breaking our sense of isolation. Compassion also helps to inoculate us against life's stress by causing us to experience someone else's point of view in a non-threatening way. It prepares us for our own stressful experiences. And when we experience those, we can reflect back on the perspective that we gained during our moments of compassion with other human beings. A is for awe. Awe is an emotion that we experience in the setting of great works of art, literature, music, natural beauty, or feats of human courage or morality. This is something that I think is often underappreciated, but has definitely been recognized for a long time. There's actually a famous letter from Thomas Jefferson where he describes the sense of awe. He describes it as elevation, and this was picked up in a book by modern psychologist Jonathan Hart, The Happiness Hypothesis. Jonathan Hart has done research on this sense of awe, or as he calls it, elevation. Elevation and awe stimulate oxytocin release like the other positive emotions. They also do something that the other positive emotions don't always do. They stimulate us to try to become better human beings, a better version of ourselves, and that's important for our well-being. R is for resilience. So all the things that we've talked about so far can help you to build resilience, but there are a few other things I'd like to mention as well. Number one, relationships. We are social human beings. We process our own experiences in the context of discussions that we have with other people. And these discussions are really helpful for putting a positive spin on difficult situations that we're facing, as well as problem solving ways to deal with them in a healthy way. What if you don't have a lot of strong relationships? Well, while you're investing in them, you can also think about writing. Research suggests that writing about your own experience is an important way to process that experience. And when you're writing, there are a few things to keep in mind. You want to do this in a way that isn't negative. So specifically, avoid something called Beck's negative triad. That is a pessimistic outlook on the world, on your own ability, and on the future. Health research suggests that people who filter their own experience through Beck's negative triad have worse resilience and mental health outcomes. So the field of cognitive behavioral therapy actually developed to help change this filter. But just writing about your experience in a way that explains why it happened and what is in your power to actually do about it can have a very similar effect. For a non-medical read that can get you started on better resilience, I would recommend the book Mindset by Carol Dweck. It's really fascinating, and I guarantee it's going to go by fast. The second E is for engagement. When I talk about wellness with folks, one of the things I hear a lot about is sustainable workload. But work can become much more sustainable when someone's heart and mind is truly devoted to the task. Somebody who is committed to the mission and cares about the cause is capable of doing amazing tasks and feats. I see this with my own son. He really loves dinosaurs and can recall hundreds of facts about dinosaurs, things that I don't recall. And I'm the one who read him the books. But on the other hand, dinner can become a monumental task when he's thinking about his Legos in the corner. This applies to adults too. Consider the case of the Bounty. The crew of the Bounty actually mutinied because they weren't engaged with Captain Blythe and actually threw him off the ship and took over the ship themselves. They were sailing in a tropical paradise, but even that was too much because they weren't engaged. On the other hand, the crew of the Endurance followed William Shackleton over hundreds of miles of Arctic tundra and ice caps because they were truly engaged with saving their lives when they were stranded in the Arctic Circle. and they survived. And we know the story today. So engagement. Engagement is really critically important. Fortunately, in fields like medicine and in education, we attract people who care about the cause and the mission. So don't shy away from promoting that mission. Also, do promote a sense of teamwork and camaraderie. It's really difficult to stay engaged when somebody feels isolated and alone. But if you can emphasize teamwork and camaraderie, it can help sustain those low points in engagement until people can get back on track. Thanks for watching our acronym for self-care and well-being. Before we wrap up, a couple of thoughts about how to use this acronym. If you're somebody who plans out your week, I would suggest taking one of these topics every day of the week and maybe 2 on a Saturday or a Sunday to try to practice in your own life. After a few months, I think you'll find that these tenets are working their way into your regular routines and habits and changing your well-being. Also, if you have a recurring meeting that you want to introduce this in your organization, I would suggest starting each meeting with one of the topics as a focus for the day, and then rotating through subsequent topics at subsequent meetings. This is a good way to bring this up top of mind in a quick little reminder in a structured format. So that's it. Thank you for watching. Before we end, I do want to just suggest that you all take a second to check out our Way to Wellbeing course. This is an online workshop and is designed to really promote yours and your staff's mental health and well-being by leveraging the resources here at Kaiser Permanente.